Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and I'm so happy to see you here. This week I want to walk you through a very special tool that has helped me in my life that I hope will help you as well. And that is my Lighten Your Load Gentle Task Organization tool that I created in Notion, and it's free for you to download with the link in the description box below. This tracker is not about productivity. Of course, it will help you get things done in your day and move things forward, but the purpose of this tracker is really to give you a sense of calm, give you a sense of clarity, and give you a sense of gentleness as you make progress in your life. So the purpose of me creating this tracker was really to support my mental health. This year, things got really overwhelming for me mentally. I think that thus far in my life, I've been able to move through life in a certain way, remembering things in a notes app, remembering things just from memory, remembering things from little voice memos, and sort of just having a little bit of an ad hoc system for myself to get things done in my day and in my life. But this year, I actually embarked on a new part of my life, wanting to create a family. And I am in this family planning process, going through the steps I need to take to get all my tests done and get everything ready so that I will be able to hopefully create a family of my own soon. But by doing this and introducing this brand new part of my life into my life, I noticed that mentally I started to get very overwhelmed, more so than ever before. There were so many appointments that I had to remember, so many different rescheduling, so many different tests. And in doing that and in prioritizing that, there were other things in my life that I felt like were either postponed or simply just forgotten about, even if they weren't meant to be. So I really needed a central place to be able to track all of the randomness that happens in my brain. In any given few moments, I could be thinking about the person I need to call back, the subscription I need to cancel, the organization that I need to do in my home. There are just so many random things that are always swirling around that I need to remember to get done. And it can get very overwhelming. It can get very cluttered inside my mind. Let me know if you can agree with that sentiment. That's the whole reason why I decided to create this Lighten Your Load mental tracker, to be able to bring that clarity that I need, bring some calmness, and also what I think is specifically unique about this tracker that I haven't seen a ton in other to-do list trackers or task trackers is that it accounts for energy, both the energy required it takes to complete the task and also the energy in which I personally have. I think that when we are in such a do type of society, it can be very overwhelming, one, to manage, but also I think that no one really takes into account the energy levels it takes to actually accomplish said task and also account for the energy that you personally have. I think that in society, it's just important to achieve it regardless of any of that. And I just don't think that that's the right way to live, and that's what causes burnout. So I hope that with some of these customizations that I created in this tracker, it helps you feel lighter and feel more aligned and purposeful as you move through your day. So let's get into the tracker itself, and I'll walk you through step by step exactly how I set this up and how you can as well. All right, so let's get into it. This is the Lighten Your Load dashboard. You will receive the link once you actually sign up with the download button that is in the description box. Once you receive that, you'll receive a view-only version of this tracker. So what's most important is if you go to this first toggle here, how to use this template, and you click down on it, the first step is duplicating the template itself to your workspace. It will describe how to do that here, and in the subsequent toggles, it will show you exactly what we're going to walk through in this video, but you can always reference it in this written version. Now, right below that is a digital post-it note, if you will, of just a reminder of what the purpose is for this tracker. It's to declutter your mind, organize your priorities, and just create more mental ease all in one space. This first section down here is the actual tracker itself. This is essentially where you will brain dump any kind of to-do, any reminder that you want to remind yourself of, it all just goes down here. You don't have to think about prioritizing, organizing, what goes where, just write it all down here. So as you can see here as an example, I've got a lot of really random things, and these are actual to-dos and reminders that were in my head that I put here. So it's things like calling my auto insurance, canceling a subscription, finishing a Notion template, calling GoDaddy, so on and so forth, and it's all really random. Under each task, you'll be able to have the opportunity to categorize under various sections. This is really important because it will essentially help you filter out in the future exactly what view you want to see. If you want to see all the work-related tasks, all the things that are due today, anything that's high importance, low importance, and also the energy required that I actually referenced in the intro, that's what you can see here. There's also a status field of what's been started, what is in progress, and this is the section that I will get into once we walk through a live example. Let's just take, for example, sorting through clothes and creating a donation bag. So this is something that is home related. So I have these various toggles here of a specific area of life. You can customize this to include other areas. Maybe you want to include something around family. If you have a lot of family obligations, you can put that down here. You can really just write whatever it is that you want to. Urgency is, when do I want to get this task done? Is this something in my mind where there is a certain time limit? For me, when it comes to this task of sorting out clothes, I actually really want to do that today, not necessarily for a reason because the donation center is closing today, but it's the holiday time. I'm going to be traveling, and when I come back, I just want a really clean home. So I want to make sure that I do this before I leave for my travels. So there are various functions here where you can outline whether you want it to be done today, this week, or it's something that can wait. Again, these are customizable as well. So you can say today, tomorrow, this week, whatever sort of makes sense for you. And then there's the importance of how important is this to you? For me, like I mentioned, it's really important to come back to a clean and organized home from my travels. So I mark this as high importance. But on any other day, if I didn't have this upcoming travel, it might have been a low. And as you can see here, when you actually switch any of the levels, that actually switches out what happens over here on where to focus. So we'll get to that in a second, but just in case you notice that, that is something that happens. Next up is energy required. So how much energy does this really take for me to do? So it's not something that's necessarily low energy because I do have to kind of move around a lot. I have to organize. I have to literally look through every single piece of clothing. So I'm going to say it's medium. It's not necessarily high energy because it is something that I'm just doing inside my home and it doesn't feel like it requires high energy. So I'm labeling it as medium. And then it's the status of, have I started this? Is it in progress? So on and so forth. Now, what you'll see here is that the next column here is how I felt. So let's say, for example, I completed this task and it's marked as done. That is going to, what I imagine, give me a great sense of relief knowing that I accomplished this. So it's really just a marker for your mood to be able to showcase exactly how it is you felt. Now, the reason why I wanted to capture this is because, as you'll see up here, there are various filters, and one of the filters that I have is completed. So if I ever wanted a pick-me-up to see exactly how much I've gotten accomplished, what I've actually completed in my life, I can look here and I can see exactly how I felt after finishing each task. So for example, I went grocery shopping and that felt really good for me. And that was a huge accomplishment. It was something that I really wanted to do so that I could be healthier. I felt really energized when I edited and published a reel. When I sorted out my clothes, that made me feel very relieved. So if I ever just really need a reminder and I'm feeling like I'm kind of dragging my feet along the way to get something done, this is just a good view to see exactly how it is I felt. I generally feel really good so that I can kind of get the wheels turning to be able to move forward and progress in whatever task there is. So as I mentioned, when you actually switch out the urgency and the importance, that actually switches out where to focus. So let's say this was today and I wanted to make sure that I created Pinterest images for this tracker. This now changes the focus to prioritize. If I wanted to actually wait until sometime this week, that shifts the focus to nurture. So depending on exactly what I select in the fields under urgency and importance, that automatically shifts where the focus is. Now, how I created this formula is really based off of something called the Eisenhower matrix. It's a really popular productivity and prioritization tool that is used to understand where to actually put your energy, where to focus, what you can delegate out, what you can just remove altogether from your plate. I wanted to take a gentler approach to this, and rather than calling it an Eisenhower matrix, I just wanted to know where to focus. Now, what you'll see down below here is where to focus. So this really just pulls in from this view here of where to focus, because as you can see, this is still up above just a long list of things that you need to do, and that in itself can also feel very overwhelming depending on if you're using these types of filters or not. So you might just really want a very quick view on this tool telling you exactly what you should be doing at that moment. So just taking a look at this list here, it pulls in exactly where to focus, whether I need to prioritize something, whether I need to nurture something, whether I need to simplify, or I simply need to pause. Now, what do each of these actually mean? So let's walk through how to use this template. And I have it listed out here so we can kind of just verbally walk through exactly what this means. So under prioritize, this is based off of what is high importance to you as well as high urgency, what needs to get done today. So this is something that needs immediate focus. Rather than saying urgent, immediate, I just labeled it as prioritize because it felt a little bit softer and it was still very clear on what you needed to do. The next where to focus pillar, if you will, is nurture. This is something that is based off of what is highly important, but it is something that is low urgency. So this is something that's not necessarily time sensitive. However, it's still important to you because it nurtures your personal goals, your professional goals, and it's something that is just important and it's something that you want to nurture. So for example, if you look down here, finishing my Notion template. So it's something that is incredibly important to me, but do I need to get that done today? Not necessarily. So therefore, it automatically categorizes itself as something to nurture. However, if this is something that I did want to complete today and I change that to today, you can see here it shifts over to prioritize because it's something that is high importance and high urgency. But for me personally, I feel like this is something that I am actively working on, but it's not something that I need to stay up for and complete today. Just as long as it's something that I complete in this week, I would be happy with. So that's what nurture means. The next pillar is simplify, and this is low importance, high urgency. So these are the tasks that are urgent, but maybe less important. There's something that once you complete it, it will reduce a lot of that mental clutter. It will help simplify some of the things that are going on in your life. These are the quick wins, if you will. So for example, down here, a quick win for me would be if I called GoDaddy. This is my web hosting company. I just wanted to take a look at my account, and it's something that, yes, I can do today, but is it that important? Not necessarily. It's something that I would probably do last on my list. So yes, calling GoDaddy is something that I want to get done. It's not something that I feel needs to be prioritized or nurtured, but it is something that I don't want to forget about. So it automatically gets classified as simplify. The last pillar now within where to focus is pause. This is something that is low importance and low urgency. This is something that you want to pause on, you can take your time with, and ultimately it might even be something that you have to let go of or want to let go of the more time that passes. So I don't want to necessarily delete quite yet any of the tasks, but I want to keep track of them, but I don't need to focus on them. So what could that mean? For me, let's look down here. Canceling my Hulu subscription. So yes, it's something that I do want to do, but do I need to do it immediately? Not necessarily. I might want to see if there are any new releases. It's the holiday time coming up, so there might be some new series. I want to see if maybe there's something upcoming that I am looking forward to. So is it urgent? Not necessarily. Is it important? Not necessarily. So that is classified as pause. And now when you go into where to focus, you can see, okay, so in this all view, you can see everything that is on your list. But like I mentioned previously, energy is highly important. How much energy do these things actually require? Luckily, up here in this task view like this, where we just brain dumped everything, we were able to kind of categorize exactly how much these things actually will take as far as energy goes. So calling places up, canceling subscriptions, these are all generally low energy. And then there's certain things that are high energy, like finishing that Notion template in my case, or sorting through clothes and creating donation bags. That's something that is medium energy. So as you can see down here now, when you go to where to focus, you can kind of assess where you're feeling personally of, did you actually get enough rest last night? Did you get 8 hours of sleep? Are you caffeinated? And you can take all of these things into account and tackle all of your where to focus tasks in a specific order. So if I'm someone that is low energy, I can actually take a look at this low energy field and say, hey, okay, I'm actually going to prioritize this, rescheduling this call. If I still feel like I have a little bit more energy, I can go into that next bucket over and look at the medium view. Is there something that takes medium energy that I have not yet completed that I could work on? And here it looks like I had put done, but let's say that's in progress. I could say, hey, do I have the actual energy to be able to complete sorting through my clothes and creating donation bags? And I can look at it from an energy standpoint versus just looking at it from this all view. But if I am someone who now woke up with tons of energy, it's the beginning of the day, I feel like the whole day is ahead of me and I've got so much high energy, I can look at it from the high energy view. And for me, the only thing that I had labeled up above as something that requires high energy is finishing my Notion template. So maybe that is the thing that I get to work on. So I just really like this where to focus because it is automated and it takes all of your inputs above into this view here, making it very easy for your brain to identify exactly where to focus. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm very into journaling, I'm very into reflection, so I really wanted to have a place down here where I could capture all of that. So if you actually click on Add Reflection Entry, I have this set as weekly reflection, but you could actually have this as daily, you could customize this to monthly, whatever kind of works for you, but I enjoy a weekly view, and this is actually going to be going out on 12/22. So what went well this week? I can say, I created 3 YouTube videos, 3 weeks in a row. It's all about consistency, so that makes me feel really happy. You could write down what challenges you faced. For me here, I did not meal prep as much as I wanted to. And I could just kind of ask myself a question of how can I get better at doing this? And maybe there's a system that I need to create to be able to really take into account getting the right nutrition for myself. What tasks brought me the most relief? Looking at my monthly credit card statements actually helped me because I was able to identify a charge where I was double charged. So that felt really good to be able to identify that and get a refund on something. And then what will I focus on next week? Really organizing my home. So these are just kind of some examples top of mind for me, but this can obviously be customized to you. And so over time, with each week that passes by, you just select that add reflection entry and you'll be able to see over time exactly what went well, what challenges you had, and see if you can notice some themes or some patterns and notice the progress that you have made. So I would love to know in the comments below how you feel about this tracker after this walkthrough. I hope this tracker feels like a warm, supportive space for your life to be able to create in the way that you want to, focus on where you need to, and really create that purposeful life that you desire. Remember, the goal is not to get absolutely everything under the sun done, but it is meant to make space for what's most important to you.